All right, guys. Shocking news and shocking updates. One of Nnamdi Kanu's legal team, lawyer Opara. All right, he's been interviewed about what happened to Nnamdi Kanu and also what happened to Simon Ekpa. This is the first time we're actually finding out that this man has been in Finland with Simon Ekpa and a whole lot. He made explanation of everything with facts, of which I would love you guys to actually listen to him and see everything that happened in this particular interview. And this would also open the eyes of many Biafrans that never believed that Biafra is definitely going to be a reality soon. So listen to him and we'll be right back.
I'm the oldest lawyer in this Nnamdi Kanu's legal team. All the people that I started handling this matter since 2014, 15, they've all left. All the new lawyers there now, they met me there.
Why did they leave?
It's a choice. Either you live on your own or Nnamdi Kanu may say, please excuse yourself, you're not giving me what I want. So I don't want to go into that. Now, secondly, the trial is ongoing. And in our ethics, once the matter is in court, we don't speak about it. But I must say, I doubt whether there is any part of Europe that I have not stepped in my leg. And not only stepping in my leg, I have interacted with most of them. I'm a member of International Bar Association Human Rights Committee. We travel almost every 2 months. And when you see what is happening in other nations and compare with what is happening in your own, you feel ashamed. Femidi, last year November, we went to Mexico for IBA conference. And we are discussing about Human Rights Committee in my own section. So when you want to speak, you take mic, you introduce yourself. And fortunately for me, I was happy. The Fabemi SAN, the Attorney General, was there. The then MDA President, Mikel, was there. I think Tambua also was there. I have about some judges were there. Many judges, many SAN, they were there. So when I took on the mic and introduced myself, which country I mentioned Nigeria, you see reaction. You see how people are making jest of us. So I felt somehow as a Nigerian. I said, okay, I have to control myself. I asked my question. And I used that opportunity to ask IBA. IBA should help Nigerians. Can't we, as a body of lawyers in the whole world, formulate a policy, go to UN, go to every... If you are in your own country, there is absolute absence of medical, health, education, amenities, absence of human rights, you will be restricted from traveling out of your country. Or better still, all these countries, the Europe, the UK, the US, will stop giving you visa, especially medical tourism. Can't we do it in that way? I was bold enough to mention the immediate past president and the current president, President Tinubu. I used them as a case study. I say, I can't see the reason why.
Do you mean about their medical leave?
Yes, because if you're a president, and you are doing well, and you have a functional healthcare, as you let them to understand, if you are sick, you should. Have you seen Trump going outside America, coming to Nigeria to take medical treatment? No, but you go to France. So I presented it. Now, back to what we are talking about, so that I don't deviate. Human rights is one of the things that will project you. Human rights is one as a country. Let me just give Simon Ekpa.
Okay, that's a good example. I was going to go there.
As an instance, I went to Finland by March last year. I finished my program in Paris. I went to Finland. I went to understand their own judicial system. And I was made to understand that Finland is the only country in Europe that doesn't have bilateral agreement with any other country. What am I trying to say? So when they say that Finland are going to extradite Nnamdi Kanu, I look at them and laugh.
But Finland is part of EU, and I presume when you're part of a body, you're subject to some of the laws and regulations around that body.
That will not stop you from being a sovereign state. You are still a sovereign state. You know what is good for you. And as a matter of fact, international law is what I research on it in my PhD.
Okay, but I still want you to finish your point about Finland and their laws and why they will not extradite Simon Ekpa.
So that's where I'm coming. So in the course of my research during my PhD, I discovered that extradition is a very serious law. And one of the things they consider, you are a number one Boko Haram known in Nigeria. You have destroyed life. You have destroyed property. Now you have run into a particular country. Let me just use Kenya as an instance. And you are caught there as a fugitive. The extradition law said Kenya people will now apply, the country, assuming that you're in Nigeria, you apply to Kenya, telling them that this particular person, Mr. A, is a terrorist. We are looking for him. Now, Kenya the law said upon receiving your application,
yes,
they will arrest the fugitive. And they took the fugitive to their own court, that with jurisdiction. Example, if it's Nigeria Federal High Court. Now you attach the investigation report in that application. You attach the charge you have preferred for the person. You attach everything, evidence.
But if that is the scenario, I'm just thinking of Interpol also being involved.
I'm coming. So they're working together. Because remember that it's Interpol that will still come and pick the person.
Mm-hmm.
So when you now attach all these documents, the law said, extradition law said, upon seeing all these things with your evidence, they will now approach court. The court will now ask the person, fair hearing, you committed this offense. Tell us the reason why we should not take you to your country or to the country in question for you to go and face a trial. After hearing from you, the next step is, one, to check that country whether there is human rights there. Brought in this issue, and I believe that our leaders will hear it. They will check the level of human rights there. If you are the country that observe human rights, that one is one. They will not check whether your life will be protected there. After checking that your life will be protected, they will not check whether you have justice there.
So what if in a scenario, and I'm following you carefully,
yes,
when it comes to procedure,
yes,
and the procedure is on one part, yes, and there's also the contingency of if such a person, even when there are procedures around what they can do or whether they're fugitive or not, if such a person still continues to embark on, let's say, a call to action, a certain level of call to action, where what is being accused of...
Remember
yes,
that the country...
Yes, but has not hesitated to possibly continue to disseminate his call to action through his disciples, if I would say.
No, that one is a different ballgame.
Why is it different?
The different ballgame is that the person you said you want to extradite him to the country. That is the issue. We are talking about... I want to link it up to tell you the reason why human rights, because we are talking about human rights. I'm just giving you implications why you should ensure that you observe human rights in your country. I wish that I have time, so that it's good that when this kind of program, especially human rights, you let people understand. I'm still at the international level. I've not come to the domestic level. Why I'm talking about this international level is that it's the one that affects I and you. It's not enough for you to go and convince somebody to come, a foreign investor, to come and invest in your country. There are some things that they will check, especially human rights, rule of law. So after all these things, the law said, having checked this thing, if they discover that there is no human right in your country, that country will not check whether they have the same law with that country, especially Kenya, using Kenya and Nigeria, whether that terrorism offense which you have sent, that there is evidence, whether Kenya can try it. So if Kenya can try it, the law said try him in Kenya.
So let me understand a little bit more, and I'm trying to understand perspective. And I do know, for example, Simon Ekpa has a case with Finland. I don't know if it's a case, but it's of interest to organizations around the world,
Yes.
both some of the UN organizations and every of the other bodies.
Yes.
And I can imagine that if that was done against Finland, certain statements about what needs to be done, right, against Finland as a country, will they sit and be quiet about it? And then it brings forward the question about what about in good faith? If peradventure, I mean, there are cases such as Julian Assange, right? Leaked cases, he has human rights, he stays in an embassy. I don't even know which embassy he is now. But it's of interest that when you do disseminate information, whether true or not true, or you have statements that have strong implications to national security of another country, there should be response from the host country, don't you think so?
And Femidi, we are talking about law. We're talking about the rule of law. Femidi, do you know that if we go out here and go forbid, we saw armed robbers killing people alive. The judge saw the armed robbers kill the person with the AK-47. The Attorney General saw it. The Nigerian Bar Association saw it. Everybody witnessed it. Evidence are there. The law said the procedure must be followed. You must get him arrested. That's what we are talking about law. You must get him arrested. Not only getting him arrested, you must subject him to investigation. Police will investigate him. He will write a statement. After writing statement, he will bring his own lawyer to give him fair hearing. After giving him fair hearing, you arraign him in that court. Remember that the judge, when he was going to work, witnessed everything.
Yes.
The judge will allow prosecution to prove his case. Femidi, do you know that when you go to court and the man said, guilty or not guilty, I'm guilty, convict me. The law said, judge, you cannot convict. Prosecution, prove your case. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying.
I do follow you.
The law will say, prosecution, prove your case. And if you charge him for armed robbery and murder, and there is 4 elements for you to prove murder, there's 4 elements for you to prove armed robbery. If you prove 3.5, if you do not prove the other half, you'll be set free. Remember that has accepted, he has pleaded guilty. Court will say, prove your case. And where he failed to prove all those elements, court will change that his guilty to no guilty.
So despite the fact that the person on trial says, I am guilty,
you prove it.
The prosecution has to prove it.
You must prove it.
And if they can't prove it completely, the judge will rule against it.
We convert that he's guilty to non-guilty and discharge him.
It brings me forward to the question of some of the arrests in the country as we have it going on, including Nnamdi Kanu, which you one of
yes.
the
do you know why I'm giving you this instance?
Yes.
Do you know why I don't want to bring Nnamdi Kanu's own? Because it's on trial. But I'm giving you a scenario.
And I do believe the others are following through.
So people want someone to come down here and face his trial. That's what people. That's majority. That is the question. Now, tell me the reason why Finland refused. The woman who was the ambassador of Finland that time, when they met him, he said Nigeria should do their own. Nobody is happy. I'm living in Nigeria here as an ambassador of a Finnish government to this place. But Nigeria should do their own. What is their own? The first time they took Nnamdi Kanu to court in their own, Nnamdi Kanu brought only 2 judgments. Look at the 2 judgments. Court ordered that Simon Ekpa brought the 2 judgments. Only 2 judgments. Show the court. Look at the 2 judgments given by the court in Nigeria, asking that they should release Nnamdi Kanu. They refuse. So, these are the countries that are civilized, and that is what is making me to be.
So there's a mountain of evidence. And this evidence, and I do say, because I'm just following through with some of, and I know it's an ongoing case, so there's a limit to how we could put perspective to it.
Yes.
But for the purpose of understanding how things are so far, last week it was about the fact that, he said certain words during the broadcast. And I just want to talk about the broadcast because now the broadcast is being brought into court. But let's talk about the broadcast, which is the Radio Biafra and all those kind of conversations that were held. And I'm taking, because it's a case, the federal government versus Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
Well, I'm just thinking about Nigerians. Now, Nnamdi Kanu's perspective on Nigerians. Nnamdi's perspective on the concept of the Southeast Bloc pretty much standing in its own, and his method of administering what some of his followers should do. And this is completely out of the court case because it's the federal government versus them. So we're treating about Nnamdi Kanu, Nigerians, and his method of, saying, do this, do that.
We are still talking about the same thing. This is our own country. My friend, I think I left by here last night. I left here around after 11 December in this hotel there. My friend came in from Canada and he's traveling tomorrow. He said that I must come today. And that night, I said, today I won't have. He said I should come. He said I should come to Canada. I said I will be in Canada. We are having IBA in Toronto. I will be there. But I won't stay more than 2 weeks. The point I'm trying to make is that when I'm traveling outside, my body will be telling me that Maswell don't belong here. Their weather, their food, their language will be. My body will tell me, especially those of us that are born and brought up in the village. So this is our country. And when you see most of us fighting like this, want to get here right, I can't leave another place. I don't know how to manage. What we are talking about is that, Femidi, when you have a good case and they channel it from a very wrong angle, Femidi will lose it. Femidi, that is a handset there. If I collect that handset now and running and they're pursuing me, you use something and hit me, I fall. And something happened to me. Nobody will talk about this handset again.
Like typically.
You know what I'm saying? Don't channel your case from a very wrong angle.
So are you saying...
And don't put yourself in a situation whereby you will not be trusted.
So are you implying, and I still want to go back to...
Yes, I'm coming. Now, in law, criminal law, there's what we call artificial and menstrual. Menstrual is the intention of committing the act. Your intention of
premeditated murder.
Yes, you committing the act. Artificial is the act of committing that act. Let me just give you this instance. Though you people will pay me for this criminal law.
Oh, yes, we'll take the lectures.
When I take this handset now,
okay,
and be moving out.
That one is the phone, not my glasses. That's where we'll be challenged.
Yes. Now, they say, where is my handset? They say, no, the only person that I saw in this city is Maxwell. You saw me outside. You act there, you look for the handset, you do not see. Finally, they caught me and saw the handset. Remember that? You people started beating me. What court is looking at? Can you tell me? Why did you take this handset? That's the only thing court is interested. That's the only thing police is interested. I know that it's not my own. I collected the handset to call my wife, to tell my wife that my handset is...
But that's speculative in law.
Excuse me. I heard them say. Remember that is my statement.
Yes.
That's my statement. That's my defense. Now, Femidi said it's not true.
I'm saying it's speculative.
I heard them saying, you said it's not true. Did you tell me? The question, you asked me, did you ask me for the handset? I did not ask you. Then court is investigating whether it is true. If court was able to establish that, if I was able to prove that I took this handset to make call and return it, there is no intention of stealing. There is no intention of stealing. Now, what am I trying to say? When you make a comment, if this cameraman touch me, I'll go kill him here. I will kill him here. In fact, your days are not bad. You do listen to me, your days are not bad. If you last the whole of today, call me bastard. Remember that is a statement you made, and the person died. The person moved and died. Who he had last encounter? This person said, I know what I'm saying. Remember that he has made a comment. They cannot convict the person because of making that comment. The question there is that, why did he say such a thing? Probably this man tried to rape the wife. And they caught him. So he now make all those statements. Court is interested in intention of you making that statement.
So what would be, and I understand what you're saying, the intention of statements, which makes sense, but I'm just wondering, what would be the intention of somebody like Nnamdi Kanu when he speaks about people should sit at home and do pretty much little or no work?
For what?
For what would be the intention?
That is what I'm saying now. Anyway, just like I thank God, those evidence now are in public domain. We can now
people
can access it. And the evidence are there. He made his comment. Where did they establish ESN? The DSSS tendered their evidence, including the question. They're asking about this question. You made this statement, and fortunately, all these statements he made, anyone he made, he told you the reason. Anyone he made, tell you the reason. Anyway, I'm saying so.
In which he said yes, for example, to a few of them.
Of course, when you said, if you see any police officer, kill. Police officers are established to protect life and property. Police stations are established to protect life and property. Any police officer you see that is using the gun government give him to kill innocent citizens, don't allow them to kill you first. Collect it and kill them first. Any police station you see that they are there killing innocent persons, burn it down.
That means he's made himself a judge of what you do.
We are still talking about the same thing. Now, the question there is that, what is their intention of saying that? The question, has there been extrajudicial killing that made you to say such a thing? The question there is that, when you see any army that is trying to kill you, was there anything? Is there Operation Python dance? Was there people, about 38 persons, killed for no just for something made somebody to say something? You establish ESN. What is the meaning of ESN? Eastern Security Network. And their agenda, their mode, their whatever thing, the intention of establishing them, you explain it. It is not Biafran army, as most of you explain. This is something the Southeast governor is supposed to establish, as Akere Dolo has done in the Ondo. Since they are not doing it, we cannot fold our hands saying that we are looking for Biafra, and the people that we say that we are fighting for are dying. We have to establish it, and we are taking the law, we are taking a bill to the various state house of assembly, believing that they will enact it. But their own is to go to the bush and then also one